Hey guys, what's up? Today in the SamsBrickLab, we're going back to Ronin's newly renovated pawn shop, our latest addition to the LEGO Ninjago City line. So you guys may remember this build from a couple years ago where I built this thing so that the Ninjago City residents could access the elevator to go up to the second or third story without having to swim across the channel every single time. And you can see it's undergone some significant changes since then. I replaced the wharf with a little strip of sand here to make a little beach, as well as lowering the entire thing by a brick height, in order to bring it in line with the rest of the modules for the Ninjago City line. And you can see Ronin's pawn shop has also undergone some serious changes. I've given him as a shop front the little stand from the Ninjago City chase from a few years ago, and we can see that Nia and Jay are on their way over to try to talk him out of the Scroll of Air Jitsu. It looks like they're going to go with the whole good cop, bad cop routine, so we'll have to see how that plays out for them. But the best thing about this thing is that it is just on a couple jumper plates, so you can easily remove it to access the interior of the shop. So if we pull forward here, you can see that there's also a lot more emphasis on the cave design, which I really love, and you can see it's a lot easier to access the interior. All we have to do is pull away these boxes, and then we can easily pull out the display case, which stays exactly the same, except the only difference being that it looks like Cole has stopped by and bought that geode piece. We have the little crystal inside the display case here, and again, it's on some jumper plates so that you can easily remove it. There's also space on the edges here so that you could store other treasure, but in the interest of easily accessing it, I did not do that. And if we swing to the side, you can see we still have the scaffolding in place here, as well as the supports, which are supporting the restaurant or saloon or whatever that is above. I also went ahead and changed up some of the details on the front here. You can see we still have the hermit crab, but the frog has washed himself and he's now green. And it looks like we also have this little bottle with a message taped inside. Who knows what it says? I don't know. Hopefully no one's in too much danger. And over here you can see a citizen on his way to access the elevator. But if you want to see how that looks, we'll have to take a look at that later on. And if we take a look at the little saloon, which is on the next floor up, you can see that Moro has returned again and is menacing Anton's little substitute here. It looks like Anton has taken the day off and left his second in command in charge, but it looks like he's not as used to dealing with Moro. And then you can see that Anton also hired a waitress to try to drum up business, but it doesn't look like that's going too well, as the cafe is empty, but who knows, maybe it's just a little bit too early in the day. And then you can see behind her we still have the mother box tiles, as well as a green lamp for some atmospheric lighting, and the green destiny, which I guess nobody really got it from the last video, but that's a reference to the old Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. History teacher showed that to us once in history class, so that's why I kind of threw it in here. And here we have the saloon in its place on top of Ronin's pawn shop. As I pointed out in my last video, it kind of has a little skull motif going on here with two eyes and then a gaping mouth beneath. That was unintentional, but I really like how it kind of ties in with the whole possession season vibe. And of course, you have kind of the same effect here on the other side as well. Maybe it's just in a little bit clearer relief. You have the two eyes, and then, you know, I guess there really isn't as much of a mouth on this side, but, you know, the effect is kind of the same. And on the main walkway here, you can see Lloyd is rushing to give the other ninja the bad news. Moro is returning soon, and he is not happy about that. But if we move him out of the way and take the roof off the building here, you can get a kind of a better look at the Borg store. I did shrink this down in order to fit in with the other modules of the Ninjago City, but again, we'll go into that later. Of course, I did design this before we got the official LEGO Borg store in the Ninjago City markets, so yeah, I guess this one's just a little bit outdated now. And then if we move to the back, you can see that this walkway is still in place, and we have the ladder here as well, where the ninja can use to climb up and reach their secret headquarters, which again has been modified. I've taken a big chunk out here, and there's no screen in front of the doorway now, but then again, this is a top secret ninja hideout, so I doubt anyone else is going to be popping up for a visit anytime soon. At least not if they know it's good for them. And then you can see some of the decorations that I kind of have on the sides here. I also added in a Prime Empire design just because I thought it was cool. And we also have the old Brickhead Series 2. And that brings us up to my favorite room of this entire build, and that is the old Ninja's Hangout. Originally, I think I called this thing Cole's Lounge, but like I said in the previous video, the color scheme doesn't really match Cole, so it's just a general Ninja Hangout here. You can see we have a little end table in the corner with some Ninja Essentials, a record player, some Ninja Cornflakes, and some Ninja action figures, probably prizes from the cereal box. And I designed this back when the Ninjago 10-year anniversary was a big thing, so that's why that plaque is still on the wall. And you can see Kai and Skylar just hanging out, maybe on a little date here. They are just a tiny bit close on that couch. Maybe a little space, guys. We have some kids watching this. And then you can see a little goldfish bowl on the table, a little plant in the corner, a little shell, and a geode piece, and then Cole just practicing the triple tiger sachet in the middle of the room there. Will he be ready for the next ninja competition? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. And that brings us up to the roof of the hideout, where it looks like Zane is studying the latest headlines, which seem to indicate that there are a lot of unidentified flying objects seen in the sky lately. Huh, maybe Zane lives in New Jersey. And then looking at the rest of the roof, you can see the main details stay the same. We have the boxes, the chest, the plans, which now are blueprints for Zane, as well as a little golden dragon, a mysterious map, and then I did redo the little railing here just to kind of add in a little extra decoration. Yeah, and then we have the treasure chest, which if we move the little bird aside, we can take a look inside and see that it contains mostly just jade blades that the ninja have stolen from Chen. And then the last detail of the roof is again this little trapdoor here. You just pull the knob on the back and that thing will fall down. You just pull the little ladder down and there you go. You can access the rooftop from the ninja's little hideout. It's I think I used something similar on the Ninjago City Woo's tea shop design. And I used it again here because it's simple but effective. I really like it. It's a fun little secret entrance to the roof. And if you're wondering about Zane's haircut, well, I've never really loved the buzz cut, so I thought I would try something new here. I'm using the hairpiece from the King from Wish. It looks really great on him, and the best thing is that you can also give him a face now with an alternate expression without having to worry about that expression being seen on the back. So, at this point, I have a confession to make. A few years ago, when I moved, I was forced to sell off the original Ninjago City because I didn't have the space for it anymore, unfortunately. I still have the plaza, though, so we can still get an idea of how they might look like together, since the plaza is pretty similar to the original Ninjago City set. So zooming in on the sidewalk here, you can see that I fixed the issues with the depths of the sidewalk and it now lines up a lot better, although I will have to adjust the height of the Ninjago City plaza here just so that they line up just a little bit better. And then you can also see that character from earlier on his way over to the elevator through that little alleyway there. And here's the plaza from behind. The plaza is currently the same height as Ninjago City, so you can see that I definitely should have added in a step here just to ease the transition a little bit, but it's definitely not the worst step out there. And if we pan up, you can see how the two buildings line up now perfectly. The Ninja Lounge does stick out just a little bit, but I think that it does add a little character to the layout. And here's the pawn shop next to the gardens. You can see that the sidewalks are flush, the archway is a little bit wider, and the buildings do look pretty good together from the front. Minus maybe the green here, but that clashes a little bit. But there's this tea house here, which is really nice because the ninja can just hop on over to it whenever they need a nice moment of quiet relaxation. And here are the gardens from behind. I'm not a big fan of this configuration just because of that awkward transition between the water and the sidewalk, but otherwise the buildings do look great connected together. And here are all three buildings connected together. I'm not a huge fan of how the lounge looks here. I'd prefer it to be an end cap building, or maybe at some point I'll just build it to give it a more flatter profile so that it's not like a corner building sandwiched right in next to another building. And here's what all three look like from behind. I'm pretty happy with how the lounge's roof locks into the other ninja hangout here, but moving down you can see the awkward transition again. There's that step between the plaza and the pawn shop, and then the abrupt end to the sidewalk and the water of the gardens. Ronin's official pawn shop is also right now next to his cave, which will probably be handy for him for moving some shipments. Alright, and that's our quick tour of Ronin's pawn shop. If you liked the video, you already know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that other good stuff. And if you didn't like it, well, Ronin doesn't give refunds. So I'll see you next time. As long as you manage to get away from Ronin, that is.